Alright y'all, here we are on to part 3 of the DIY Arduino lap counter race coordinator. So we built the detector track in part 1. In part 2 I showed you how to load the software. Now we'll talk about integrating the reed switches to the board. And so what we need to do is unwind all the wires from when I wound it up to tuck them out of the way. Be careful you don't, if you're using single-stranded wire like I did on this particular one, be careful you don't kink it, because it's easy to break if you wiggle it back and forth. But that red wire is one of our lanes, so I'll just pale it up. So I just threw together a quick test track using, it's all lifelike because I made the reed switch detector on lifelike track. Looks pretty good though. I like that painted lifelike track. And if you're just a casual put together a track every once in a while kind of person, lifelike, that's the way to go. It snaps together easy. It holds together good in a flat track. But there's not a lot of turn variations. They're all 9-inch radius, with the exception of their bank track, which they do 9-inch radius bank track, and then they do the one that I like, which is the 12-inch. It's got a wide barrier on it, high bank track. But like I said, if you just build a track every once in a while, lifelike is not a bad option, because Tyco and AFX, if you bump the track or while you're putting it together, it'll try to come apart. AFX, my preferred track, is always best to me in a fixed layout where you screw down the track, or you could even just hot glue it down if you don't want to bother screwing it. It's probably a better way to go. If you decide to make changes to it, and that hot glue will give you a little vibration resistance. So I'm just going to use some Walmart clear tape. This stuff's really good, y'all. Amazingly sticky. And using it on my eBay shipping. But since I'm showing you how to build the track, or not the track, the lap counter, show you me stringing the wire. So just kind of secure them down as you go. Get it over to where we need to be with our Arduino. Take it down one more time there. Wrap them all together a little bit. So our connections on the Arduino board. We're going to be hitting the ground, which is marked in pin 3 and 4. 3 and 4 should be lap 1 and 2. Now, the numbers pretty much line up with the pinhole that you need. But if you miss it, don't worry. If you got a lane that's not working, you can go back and double check and move it. There's additional connections for more lanes, but like I said, read into the README file. There's a lot you could do with it. There's some ports or outputs on this side where you can connect some LEDs. I'll do that later on. I'll try to document that too in case y'all want to do some of that. But those 3 wires are what we hook up, and this is the spigot for the USB connector. It looks like a printer cable. It came with a short short one like this, which I am going to use. I might use a shielded extension and get a little longer, but I used a regular black one before, and I had a dropout on a connection. I ain't had a chance to retest that. But so anyway, so hook your black one up to the ground. Down. And we want pin, either one of these to go to pin 3. I'm just going to count the holes. That should be right. Socket 3. Now they do sell headers on Amazon or eBay, wherever you prefer to buy it from. I'm going to put another piece of tape down there. Take them wires down. Make sure your wires don't touch each other. The pin 3 and 4, if they did touch each other, you just get false positives or negatives, whatever you want to call it. But connect your little USB piece of tape on that. That looks pretty good right there. Now I need to get a computer hooked up, and then we'll go from there. So now that I showed you the hooking up the wires to the Arduino, and we got our USB cable, we're going to go ahead and we'll plug in the Arduino right now, so we'll get the indication that it's active. Let me see. Right there. All right, and it lit up. Said it's there. Now we'll launch the race coordinator software. Now we have race coordinator up and running, and we got the Arduino plugged in. It's hooked up to the wired up reed switches on the track. Go to the track setup, expert track setup. Gonna go to Arduino and configure, because I didn't save it last time, y'all. It's not showing a connection, so we have to click on COM9, which is my Arduino, and there it is. So hit the accept button. But we want to go back to configure. We're going to trigger on low laps. That pin is lap only in this case, so I don't have any other sensors that I've wired up. We can add additional ones later. So the analog setup is for your LEDs if you have any. So we're not going to do that. Digital. So it shows lap 1. Oh, see, I told y'all wrong. I put it on pin 3 and 4, but we can make pin 3 lap 1, and we can make pin 4 lap 2. We can put got 2 lap 2s here. Okay, so I need to get rid of that one, unused. This one's unused. I don't reckon it'll matter. We just don't want them displayed up on the screen. So lap 4 or lane 4 unused. So we got lap 1 on pin 3, which is where I put one of the wires. Lap 2 on pin 4. Relays, we're not using any of those, but it doesn't matter. We don't have a call button. Okay, so let me see. I think at this point, if I run a car past the deal, no, it didn't. I thought it would toggle that light, but maybe because I ain't accepted it yet. Let me go back and look. I thought there was a way I could check that it was toggling. That don't do it. Let's go back to general. Alright, I'll just try to run one. Let's see. Image map. No, that don't matter. Here we go. So I did an update to save it, but I don't have anything added here. Lanes, lane color. I don't believe we need lane 4. We'll remove that one. We'll remove lane 3, so we should have only 2 lanes. We'll update that. Said we will. Okay, and we did. Back to general. And I believe you can enter all of your track sections and stuff up here, but I'm not messing with that right now, so we'll close that one. We gotta add a driver. So you drag it over, cut it loose, add another one. We got 2. You drop a car on top. Right, these are just the static ones that were already built. Now we'll pick single race, practice. No, we're not going to do anything. We'll hit start race. See what we got there.
Go.
So it said go, but it ain't going to register this first lap. Oh, especially since I run the car off the track.
Driver 1 best lap.
There you go. So I'm running one car on lane 1. She's a count. Man, it's working pretty good. Alright, now I'm going to switch over to lane 2, since we ain't run on that one yet. Hopefully it's working fine. Lane 2 is not registering, so my wire is probably loose. I'll have to check that. Yeah, it is loose, so I need to double the wire over and crimp it, because I'm just using the bare wire to thicken it up a little bit. Plug that in. So, well, y'all saw one lane work. It is awful loose in there. Thinking it doesn't like. I'm gonna switch the pin over to See what I was talking about. 1, 2, 3. This is, I think that might be what was wrong. So I moved the wires over two pins. And that lane 2 is now on lane 1's wire. And the old lane 1 is now lane, yeah. Okay. There we go. So, troubleshooting hint is, like I said in the video, I said you could just count the holes. That's not right. The first hole is not pin 1 apparently. So what you could just move the wires over. I did it while the board was active. That's not the best idea, but I'll point that out. Let me switch over to the other camera part. So here is the Arduino board. You can see that I don't think I need that light on, but they put it on. You can see right there's the holes, the header. That 1, 2, 3, 4, but the first hole is not counted so it's 1, 2, 3. Blue's in pin 3, red is in pin 4 right now, but before I had it shifted over, right? You gotta double check it, and it's safe to move them because we're just closing the open collector output of these detectors to ground through a resistor, that resistor network we built with the the reed switches. And then of course here's our USB spigot that we talked about. I got it hooked up to the back of the computer with an USB extension, a shielded one. So I had stripped and re-terminated the one wire because it felt loose inside there. I just got the wires jammed in. But if you had a header going across there and the wire soldered to it, you'd be rock solid, which would be what you do when you do your permanent setup. But this is good enough to get you where what you just seen, we got a functioning lap counting system. And now I'm gonna run a couple cars and we'll see it running in real time as well. So there we go. All right. Now we're going to run some cars and see how it works on we got the reed switches track we built. We got the wiring we hooked to the Arduino that we loaded in part 2. Arduino's hooked up. I ran a little bit. You saw my error. We talked about the wiring. Now I'm going to clear all that. And I'm going to try to run both these cars without running them off the track. So that's pretty much it. I don't know why I didn't do the driver's new best laps.
Yellow flag.
Maybe I need to restart. Let me restart the whole thing. We'll run it again. Put them back at the beginning. Start the race.
Go.
Ooh, I had a wreck.
Driver
When I restarted it, suppose we remove that flap again. I think that's about it for this project. Or the basic building a lap counter, hooking up the software. Like I said, if you got the time and effort and you think you can do it, it ain't that difficult. But if you find any of these things challenging, then you're just better off buying the Viasu where it comes with the thing and you hook it up and you'll have the same type of display. Now I'm going to mess with the display. Now I have to learn the software. I don't know what the word is. It's got a lot of variations. You can do many things with it. So I hadn't studied on it too much. But that's it for now. I think we can wrap this up.